Day 5 of the World Cup, and something happened that hadn't happened in 68 years. 4 matches, 4 draws. The last time an entire World Cup match day ended with every single game level was 1958, and it wasn't boring stalemates. It was the favorites stumbling. Spain, one of the tournament favorites, got held scoreless by Debutants Cape Verde. Uruguay, Belgium, both dropped points. The Giants got a reality check, and the little guys stood tall. Let's break down the day parity ruled the World Cup. The story of the day: Spain versus Cape Verde. And if you saw our Debutants video, you know Cape Verde. The Blue Sharks, 500,000 people. The team that knocked out Cameroon just to get here. Well, they just added Spain to the legend. Spain threw everything at them. 74% of the ball, 27 shots to Cape Verde 6. There's a wild stat. Spain's Mikel Oyarzabal didn't touch the ball for the first half hour, the longest any player has gone since records began in 1966. And it didn't matter. Cape Verde packed in with a 5-4-1 formation, a deep, disciplined wall, and their 40-year-old goalkeeper, Vozinha, stood on his head. Even when wonder kid Lamine Yamal came on, Spain could not break through. 0-0. A point that feels like a trophy for the Blue Sharks. Now let me teach you something that'll make you sound like a pro, because the stats from that game are a perfect example. You'll hear commentators say XG, or expected goals. Here's what it means. Every shot is given a score between 0 and 1 based on how likely it was to go in. A tap-in from 2 yards might be 0.9, almost certain. A wild shot from 40 yards might be 0.02, almost no chance. Add them all up, and you get how many goals a team should have scored. In this game, Spain's expected goals was 2.29, meaning, on average, they should have scored more than 2. They scored 0. That gap, over 2 expected goals and nothing to show for it, tells you everything. Spain created plenty, but Cape Verde's wall and that goalkeeper made sure none of it counted. Expected goals is how you measure who really controlled a game, beyond just the scoreline. Group G and Egypt announced themselves. 19th minute, Mohamed Salah, the superstar, drops into a playmaking role, slides a pass to Imam Ashar, who rifles it in from outside the box. 1-0 Egypt, and they're stunning Belgium's golden generation. Belgium threw on Romelu Lukaku to rescue it. And 22 seconds after stepping on, his presence in the box caused the chaos that forced a Belgian equalizer, an own goal off a low cross. There's that super sub impact again. A striker changing everything in seconds. Kevin De Bruyne even smashed a free kick off the post. But Egypt's keeper held firm, and the golden generation had to settle for 1-1. Salah pulling the strings, Egypt punching up. Same group as Spain. Group H, Saudi Arabia versus Uruguay, 2-time world champions, and Saudi struck first. 41st minute, Uruguay's veteran keeper Muslera spills a long shot, and Abdelallah Al-Amri pounces on the rebound. 1-0 Saudi. Uruguay came out for the second half like a different team. Manager Marcelo Bielsa shook it up, and they fired 27 shots. Maxi Araujo finally squeezed one in from a tight angle on 80 minutes to rescue the draw. But the headline was Saudi goalkeeper Al-Awais. He was a brick wall. Which brings me to the lesson of the day. But first, the one game that refused to be quiet. Iran versus New Zealand, an absolute end-to-end thriller. New Zealand's Elijah just scored in the 7th minute, racing off big Chris Wood. Iran hit back through Ramin Rezaian. Then Elijah just scored again. A brace off another Chris Wood assist, 2-1 New Zealand. And Iran leveled once more through Mohamed Mohebi, 2-2. 4 goals, momentum swinging both ways. The day's lone goal fest and a reminder that even the draws day can produce pure entertainment. So here's the thread tying day 5 together. The goalkeeper. Look at the heroes. Cape Verde's Vozinha against Spain, Saudi Arabia's Al Owais against Uruguay, Egypt's keeper against Belgium. 3 underdogs grabbed points off giants, and in every case, a goalkeeper had the game of his life. Here's why that matters. When you're the smaller team, you defend deep, you concede chances, and your last line of defense becomes the most important player on the pitch. A hot goalkeeper can single-handedly turn a likely loss into a precious point. New fans tend to watch the goal scorers, but on days like this, watch the keepers. They are the reason the underdogs are smiling. Step way back, because 4 draws in a day isn't random. It's the signature of this tournament. Remember our draws video. A draw against a giant feels like a win for the underdog, and like 2 points lost for the favorite. That's exactly what played out 4 times today. The gap between the big nations and everyone else has never been smaller. With 48 teams, more nations than ever have nothing to lose and a clear game plan. Defend as a unit, frustrate the favorite, nick a point. Spain, Uruguay, Belgium, all giants, all held. This is the most competitive, most unpredictable World Cup anyone has ever seen, and we're only 5 days in. Let's read the groups. Group H. It's a logjam. Spain, Cape Verde, Saudi Arabia, and Uruguay all drew, so every team sits on a single point. The favorites. Spain and Uruguay have a lot of work to do. Group G, same story. Belgium, 1-1 with Egypt, Iran, 2-2 with New Zealand, all 4 level on a point apiece. 2 entire groups where nobody separated themselves. After match day 1, 8 teams, 8 identical point totals. The math is going to come down to the wire. And now you know, goal difference will be everything. And here's why a single point on day 1 is more valuable than it looks. It ties right back to our standings video. Remember the new format, 12 groups, and not just the top 2 advance. The 8 best third-place teams also go through to the round of 32. So when Cape Verde or Saudi Arabia or New Zealand grab a draw against a giant, they're not just surviving. They're banking a point that could carry them into the knockout rounds even if they finish 3rd. That completely changes the strategy for an underdog. You don't have to win your group. You don't even have to finish 2nd. You just have to stay close, pick up points where you can, and stay in the 3rd place race. Today, 4 underdogs did exactly that. Not one of these 8 teams walked away empty-handed, and in this expanded World Cup, that is worth its weight in gold. The draw that looks boring on TV might be the point that sends a tiny nation into the knockouts. So, what's the takeaway from the day nobody could win? The underdogs of this World Cup are fearless, organized, and superbly coached, and they've figured out exactly how to hurt the giants. The favorites? They've been warned. A clinical day can still come. But right now, the so-called minnows are biting back, and the trophy feels more up for grabs than ever. If you came to this tournament expecting the big names to stroll through, surprise. This is anyone's World Cup. Day 5 standouts wore gloves and grit. Vozinha, 40 years old, kept a clean sheet against Spain. Mohamed Salah orchestrated Egypt's point against Belgium. Elijah Just, a 2-goal performance to earn New Zealand a famous draw. And every underdog goalkeeper who refused to break. Different heroes than usual. And that's exactly what made today special. 4 matches, 4 draws, 0 fear from the underdogs, and a debutant in Cape Verde who just held one of the best teams on earth. This World Cup keeps telling us the same beautiful thing. There are no small teams anymore. We'll be here breaking down every twist and teaching you the game all summer long. If you learned something today, especially that expected goals trick, smash subscribe, ring the bell, and drop your player of the day in the comments. Until the next whistle, what a tournament. See you soon.